Okay, it's 12:30, and I thank you all for joining us on YouTube and on Facebook. Um, my name is Felicia Moore, and you're joining us for another conversation with the Council President. We are ever evolving, trying to get our technology right, trying to make sure that we're able to reach more people. This way, it gives us an opportunity to reach out to people that are not on Facebook by joining YouTube. Hold on one second. I see to be a little shiny here on camera. So I want to douse that a little bit. So anyway, today is August the 12th, 2020. I hope everyone is doing well. And I hope you are following all of your COVID precautions, but I will come back to that a little later and come up with some other things that I just want to make you all make note of. But today I'm going to introduce you to, I think, a very timely topic, the STAR team. And the STAR team, Star Seed, is a nonprofit that works to reduce transit in affordable workforce apartment communities. Their goal is to help families to stay in their homes, and that's really important, particularly in our COVID environment. At their four host properties, Starseed offers wraparound services, which are extremely important, in partnership with landlords who have agreed to keep their rents affordable. And we all know that affordable housing is a serious issue here in Atlanta and across the country as well. Okay, sorry. Had to make sure I can see your comments. Um, so, Starseed Eviction Relief Fund. That is what we're here to talk about today because we all know that in this COVID environment, uh, there's been a lot of moratoriums on rents, but those moratoriums and evictions, and those moratoriums are about to end. And so what they're doing is extremely important. It offers the Star Seeds Eviction Relief Fund offers rent assistance to help qualified residents pay their rent and continue to raise their children in the same communities and the same school. And that is extremely important. The program is administered through landlords that operate apartments at affordable rents in our target school districts. So, just as an update in our county, Fulton County, which majority of us live in, and I have to remind people, Atlanta is in Fulton and DeKalb County. Evictions will begin on August the 13th this year, beginning with cases held by the marshal, which is about 530 plus of those, and the court, which has about 400 cases or more. And DeKalb County sometime in August, and Cobb County as well, which is near us. So why this is extremely is important, because as you know, we have number one, an affordable housing crisis in the city of Atlanta. Many people who are in affordable products, what happens is if we're not careful, these people will be displaced and that disrupts our school system. And think about it as a child. It's a traumatic experience if you have to continue to move, and families that are not able to keep a stable place for their family. And kids need to be attached to their school and their community and not be displaced. So, what they're doing is more than extremely timely, but of extreme importance. And so, I would like to introduce my guests for today. And our guests today are the Margie Stagmeyer. She's the founder and board chair of the Star Seed team. Andrea Reese, who is the executive director, and Mr. Courtney English. And some of you may remember his name from being on the school board. He's the director of community development. So I want to thank you all so much for joining us today on Conversations with the Council President. Thank you. So I have a few questions, and I'll hope you all are unmuted and everything. And if you could unmute yourself, and then I will be watching as well on Facebook and YouTube to see if anyone has any other questions. So I guess I'll start with the founder. What compelled you to start this organization? I think you're muted. I can't hear you. Go ahead.
No.
There we go. I think talking. Yes, unmute yourself. There you go.
She's still muted.
Yes, TJ, make sure she's unmuted. Okay, let's try again, Margie. For some reason, Margie, we're not hearing you. I don't know what's going on. So we'll try one more time, and then we'll try to figure out if you're muted from this side. But maybe someone, either Courtney or Andrea, can answer that question. What was the impetus?
Margie can actually come in here with me if she wants.
Okay, that'll be fine. So that way that we can hear you both. But Courtney, while they're getting that together, tell me what do you do with the organization and why you think it's so important?
Well, so I appreciate the question and the opportunity, Madam Council President. This organization is designed to reduce transiency in our public school system. Transiency is what happens when a kid leaves their home environment or leaves their neighborhood school, and it's a huge problem that faces schools and school systems alike. And so, yeah, I got involved towards the end of my time on the school board, knowing and realizing that that APS overall has a transiency rate right at 25%. In our lowest performing schools, actually, that number can jump to high as 60%. And so imagine trying to teach a kid that, trying to teach a group of kids that 60% of them are going to leave that particular school environment by the end of the year. That's normally caused by all of the inequalities that we talk about. Lack of affordable housing is caused by generational poverty, lack of jobs that pay a living wage. And so Star C is really well positioned to try to bridge the gap and provide wraparound services to folks, to kids and families in these school settings so that they can stay in their neighborhood schools and ultimately stay in their homes.
So Margie, you were going to tell us, I think we can hear you now, why you started this organization.
So I, in fact, am a landlord, and I've owned and managed about 3,000 workforce housing units around Atlanta. And I noticed many years ago that a lot of the areas where I purchased apartments, we had low performing schools. So an incident in Cobb got me motivated to start working with a local school. And what we found is by keeping our rents affordable and adding wraparound community services, we were actually able to turn the school around, and it became a Title I school distinction. So voila, a new business model was born. And going forward, we only buy apartment communities near low performing schools, and we keep our rents intentionally affordable for families making around $15 an hour. And we provide the free wraparound services through Star C. And we really make a difference in the lives of the families and the transiency at the school, as Courtney said. We are a for-profit model. Star C is the nonprofit arm of what we've been doing. And now we've actually opened it up to other landlords around Atlanta.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I'm just now realizing, unfortunately, and you all can let me know, but I don't think our people on Facebook are able to see you. We got to figure that one out. But for those who are on Facebook, if you want to make sure you can see it all and see the people who I'm interviewing, you can go to my YouTube channel. It's Felicia Moore, President, Atlanta City Council on YouTube, and join in that discussion. That way you're able to see the guests as well. But I hope you can hear what's going on. I'm hopeful. You all let me know if you can hear them, if you can't see them. So, okay, thank you. Go ahead and switch over. That'll be great. So the other question I had is, based on you all's knowledge, approximately how many families could be facing eviction beginning this month?
Yeah, you can take that question. So in the city of Atlanta, I know Fulton County has about 6,000 now eviction filings in the court, We're estimating about half of those are City of Atlanta. So we're looking at roughly 2,000 to 3,000 families are now facing eviction or will be facing eviction probably within the next couple months when court opens. A lot of landlords have not been filing because under the CARES Act, they cannot file until after August 25th. So we are expecting, I don't want to use the word tsunami, but we're expecting a lot of evictions to come into the Fulton County Magistrate Court starting August 26th.
Yeah, so that's, really concerning because, the number of people, and I'm not sure that we have the capacity to find sheltering in place for these people. And I could see our homeless population growing with those kinds of numbers. So the other question I had is specifically what tenants and landlords are eligible for eviction relief assistance through StarC, and tell us a little bit about that assistance.
Yes, with the eviction relief fund, we continue to focus on communities and schools that StarC has always focused on. So as Margie mentioned before, with the founding of StarC, the goal of it is to help turn around schools by using affordable housing. So we focus on apartment communities that are affordable, and the overall guideline that we use is a maximum rent for a 2-bedroom of about $1,650 a month. That makes that unit affordable for someone in Atlanta earning up to 80% of area median income. So that's the maximum rent that we'll accept as a guideline. Most of the properties that have been approved for this fund, their rents for a 2-bedroom are between $1,000 and $1,300 a month, so much less than the maximum. And then in terms of the school that apartment community is zoned for, it needs to be ranked in the bottom third of schools according to schooldigger.com. Again, that's because those are our target schools. We're trying to reduce transiency specifically at those schools. So we're trying to partner with apartment communities that are near those schools and work in conjunction to turn those around. So a property has to qualify on affordability and proximity to one of our target schools. Beyond that, basically any family that's living there could be qualified. For our program, the landlord pre-screens tenants there. So if the landlord considers someone to be in good standing, except they need some financial assistance with their rent, that tenant can submit an application to their landlord, which they review and then send over to us. And then we review and maybe have some follow-up if necessary, and then we'll cut a check from there, hopefully, if the application is approved. So, so that's how it works in terms of the qualifications of the tenants and the landlord.
So how do we get this word out to people? How many people do you have the capacity to help?
We have tremendous capacity to help. This eviction relief fund was launched in April of this year, and we've already raised over $2.2 million. Most of that is a $1.5 million grant in Cobb, and then the rest of it is money, except for $100,000 that's specifically in DeKalb. The rest of it is money that we can spread across the metro Atlanta area. So we are helping people from Spalding County to Gwinnett to Douglas County and everywhere in between. Right now we have 87 properties signed up, which really encompasses about 17,000 units. If people are interested in our program, they can go to our website, star-c.org, and click on the eviction relief page there. They can see how the program works, and then they can download the forms that the landlord needs to complete and then that the tenant needs to complete. And we'll go from there. But we would love to get the word out. We want the tenants to know. We want everyone to know about this program, and so that they can participate. Most of the money that we've gotten, not all of it, but most of it is CARES Act funding. So it must be spent before the end of the year. And if it doesn't get spent by the end of the year, it'll have to go back to the federal government. We don't want to send back a penny. So just encourage all affordable landlords and their tenants to look into our program. So we have landlords who sign up, but we've also have landlords who have signed up after their tenants told them about the program. So we've gotten some excellent word of mouth from the tenants themselves, in addition to social media posting and the advertising that we're doing on our own.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I would also like to Courtney to discuss the specific program that we have for Atlanta Public School families.
And I was just going to ask
Oh, I'm
specific.
sorry.
No, Courtney, take it away.
We're right there. We're right there.
For
No,
those
it's
who
good.
are watching on Facebook, you're only seeing me. I hope I'm looking good today. I hope you can. But if you can't hear and you'd like to see them, which they're about to go off now, but you can go to my YouTube channel, Felicia Moore, President, Atlanta City Council, and you can see them on the video. Go ahead, Mr. English.
Yeah, so just really quickly, we have a very specific fund dedicated for parents of Atlanta Public Schools children. And so we have partnered with the Atlanta Public School System and to have already identified a few hundred people who have raised their hand and said they need rental assistance. In addition to that, we're going to be reaching out directly to schools. And so if you're a parent with schools in the Atlanta Public School System, please reach out to us via our website. All the forms you'll need to fill out are there, and we have some very specific funding that we can allocate your way to make sure that you can stay in your home and your child can stay in your neighborhood school.
And so somebody asked Facebook, what if the landlord isn't willing to fill out the form?
If the landlord isn't willing to fill out the form, in a lot of cases, that might disqualify people from getting help. But we would ask that you still reach out to us because maybe we can do something to work around by partnering with another organization or something like that. And then too, just to use that shame factor, because basically with our program, a landlord can get 90% of their outstanding rent, depending on how far behind someone is. So for just 10 cents on the dollar, if they'll waive that fee, they can get their monies raised. But again, if a tenant is running into that, please just reach out to us so that we can see what else we can do to help, possibly connect you with some other resources or other partners that we can team up with to work around that landlord.
Yeah, and Courtney, I was going to ask you too, in terms of the school system, you know, and I know you were a school board member, how important is it for parents not to be evicted and moved and the kids to be moved out of the school?
Oh, it's absolutely critical. What research suggests is that each time a child moves, they lose between right at 3 months of learning. It's a 9-month school year, right? And so every time a kid moves, they're looking at falling behind 3 months or a third of the entire school year. And so it's detrimental to kids. If kids aren't showing up to school, there's nothing a teacher can do to possibly teach them. There's no teaching strategy for a kid being absent or a kid consistently moving schools. And so again, APS's overall transiency rate is 25%. A quarter of the school system is going to shift before the end of the school year. And in our lowest performing schools, what we have found is that number can be as high as 60%. So 60% of the kids that you start with are going to be completely different than you end with. And so there's no teaching strategy for that. There's nothing a teacher or a principal can do to address that other than to try to partner and keep those folks in their school. So it's absolutely critical that we find a way to do that. We are partnering with government agencies. We're partnering with, of course, Star C is doing the work. There are a number of nonprofits who have raised their hand and are trying to solve this problem in a variety of ways. But it's absolutely critical that we keep those folks in place. And then one last note, I'll just say an eviction in and of itself is absolutely devastating to a family. It is the equivalent, some folks have called it the equivalent of sending the dad off to prison for a minor drug conviction, if you will. It devastates the family from an economic standpoint, from an emotional standpoint. And so to the extent that we can keep those folks from being evicted in their homes, it will go a long way to stabilizing our schools and our school system as a whole.
Yeah, and I would assume early intervention is good. So if anybody's out there watching and you know someone who is about to be evicted or could be evicted, I think reaching out to Star C now is a good thing so that you can start getting that ball rolling. Margie, did you have any parting words that you'd like to? And thank you so much for being a landlord and being responsible and thinking about how you can help support the community.
One thing I would like to say is if you are facing eviction and you're watching this podcast, please talk to your landlord. In our own portfolio, we have tenants that have not paid rent. They will not talk to us. we have no choice but to start filing evictions on August 26th. So please come talk to your landlord, talk to us. A lot of landlords out there want to work with their tenants, but they have to have a tenant that's willing to work with them. So, and then also I want Audrey to talk a little bit about our work in the courts.
Yes.
We have been forming a partnership with the magistrate courts of Fulton and Cobb County. They have welcomed us in. They have embraced the partnership with Star C to bring us into the mediation process, to bring us into actual court sessions, to let the landlords and tenants know who we are and what we can offer as a financial resource, even at that point, to settle an eviction. Our goal is always to help the tenants stay in their homes. So if we're in the Fulton County Court, Star C can come in, and if the landlord and tenant can work something out, Star C can contribute up to $1,500 to help settle that eviction. The goal again is to keep the tenant in their home, not to give the landlord a check and the person just move out anyway, but to keep that person in their home, and we can do the same thing in Cobb. So we set these partnerships up so that, because so many times people just get into situations, but even at the 11th hour, people can be saved. If the landlord and tenant can work something out, they can add our money to it, and we'll be glad to do everything we can to keep those tenants in their homes. So we really appreciate Judge Cassandra Kirk in Fulton County, Judge Brendan Murphy in Cobb for partnering with us and doing everything that they can during this time of tremendous upheaval. Just the collaboration at the municipal level has been huge. And as I said, we got a $1.5 million grant from Cobb. We're asking for some additional funding from the city of Atlanta, and hoping to hear some good news about that soon. But with these times, everyone has to come together. So that's what we're trying to do, trying to come together and do our part to help keep tenants in their homes.
And the city of Atlanta received $88 million in CARES Act funding, and we have divvied it up on a lot of things. And one of them is to help people that are having financial difficulties facing eviction. So hopefully the city of Atlanta will partner with you. That program has not been announced yet. I have, for those who are watching, posted information for businesses, and I'm looking forward to once they get the program together, and hopefully soon, because we got to get this money spent.
That's right. December 31st is coming.
And I heard that they're looking at maybe trying to extend it a bit. So I'm hopeful for that. But
we hope so.
Hopefully we can get the city of Atlanta's information posted. So one more thing, and then I'm gonna let you go. If somebody could tell us again how people can contact you or have someone that they know contact you.
So they can visit our website at www.star-c.org and visit the eviction relief page there. They can also give us a call at 404-698-3781 to ask questions about the program or get more information.
Say it one more time.
www.star-c.org, the eviction relief page. Our phone number is 404-698-3781. And also our email address is hello, just the word hello, at star-c.org.
That's easy. hello@star-c.org.
That's right. We want it to be easy.
We'll post that in the comment page for people in case you missed it. Thank you. Good to see you, Mr. English. And I know you're still doing good in the community. Thanks, and nice meeting you, Margie and Andrea. Appreciate what you are doing. It's really, really needed. And hopefully this will get the word out. And if you have any flyers or information, I'll be more than happy to continue to post that information on my social media.
We'll sure send them over.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And for those of you who are on Facebook and on YouTube, you can get that information. We will post that. It's posted under the comments section so that you can do that. So now, as we say goodbye to them, I do want to have some wrap-up conversations, and we can go. You all can log off, and that'll be great. And Mr. TJ, we can go directly to me. Again, I said that the city of Atlanta does have CARES Act funding, and we will hopefully be able to announce some of that information for you on my page. And I hope you're following me, because as soon as I get that information, I will shoot it out. And I certainly hope Star C is one of the organizations we partner with. just by way of announcements, if you have any questions for me, I need them now because we've got about 5 minutes and I'm going to be signing off. But I want to remind everybody on August 3rd, the Census Bureau announced it will be ending the 2020 census count early on September 30th. If you have not filled out your census, please, 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 please go to census.org. I think it is, and fill out the census. We need it because it is how they determine who gets what money by population. And the city of Atlanta, we're going to need it, particularly in this COVID environment, being able to do things like get CARES Act funding. We were already almost missed the cutoff time frame for the city of Atlanta population to get any CARES Act funding or direct funding. Ours would have had to come through the state, thanks to Congressman Lewis and others that we were able to get on there. But we need to make sure our population numbers are right. So please, please fill out the census if you haven't done so. And if you know someone else who hasn't done it, just ask them and please ask them. And we need to make sure we promote that on my page every day up until the end of the month and the end of September. Let's see. So Georgia's response rate has been about 59% to the census. We are behind the national average over 4%. We need to make sure that particularly our African American communities and those at-risk communities are represented. So anyway, they will post the information in the comment section. Please stand up and be counted. August is National Black Business Month. Black-owned businesses account for approximately 10% of all businesses across the U.S. As you know, Black-owned businesses, as well as any businesses, are all suffering now in this COVID environment. So I would strongly encourage everyone to please support Black businesses, but all our businesses at this point in time, because they're all suffering in this COVID environment. So the city is still, like everyone else, in the midst of this COVID pandemic. I'm urging everyone to please take it seriously. Please take your precautions. Stay at home. If you don't need to go anywhere, don't go to large gatherings. I know my heart has wrenched where I wanted to go to Miss Maddie Jackson's funeral. I would have loved to go on to John Lewis's funeral, but I really need to make sure I guard my health. And so I have not been going to large gatherings, and I will be going to some, but I'm certainly limiting those and making sure when I'm there, I keep my social distance, making sure I have on my mask. So when you're going out in public, please do that. Make sure you're washing your hands frequently. Make sure you keep some hand sanitizers on you so when you're touching surfaces, that you can sanitize your hands. They're still learning every day more things about this virus, but we do know that it can be spread through the droplets. Like I probably am spreading droplets all over my house just by talking to you, not yelling or screaming or singing, but all of those things. So that's why the face covering is important. And I see some of you trying with the face covering, but putting it below your nose is not helping you because you're breathing the air in your nose. You want to protect yourself. And around your chin isn't helping any at all. You're not helping anybody by doing that. So if you wear a mask, when you wear a mask, please make sure you're wearing them properly. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Although I'm on Facebook Live, I hope you were able to hear our guests. But to see the guests and me at the same time, I'm going to be asking you when we have guests to go over to the YouTube channel so you can see that. But I thank all of you who are joining us on Facebook Live. Let's see if I got through all of my notes. I think that I have. And I don't see any questions for me, but I wanted to just encourage everyone to continue to join into the conversations. We will continue to have conversations with the council president. Be safe, get counted, make sure you go to vote in November. You can register to vote up until October. So if you know people who haven't voted that aren't registered, they can register to vote and vote in the November elections that's coming up. thank all of you for voting. Congratulations to all of the winners of the runoff election. Wear your face covering, wash your hands, sanitize, be safe, and join me next week for another conversation with the council president. For now, I will end and say, be safe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.